Years ago, I wanted to try retail. I wanted to try my hand at retail. I'd never done retail before, so I applied at Nordstrom's. And they gave me a job in the men's shoe department. So I became a men's shoe guy at Nordstrom's. Well, I didn't exactly hit it out of the park as a shoe salesman. You know, it wasn't that I was bad. I was awful. Oh, God. You know, my boss would just watch me in action on the floor and just wince, you know, wince, like, dude, what are you doing, you know? But there was a guy in the shoe department who could sell any shoes to any male in North America. This guy was a star. He was the Peyton Manning of men's shoes salesmen. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, his name was Matt. And Matt was 17 years old. So one day, I'm standing on the opposite end of the floor, and Matt goes like this. 17-year-old Matt summons me over. So I walk over, and he puts his arm around me and says, Fred, you don't really have a clue what you're doing here, do you? I mean, you seem like you're really lost here, Fred. I said, well, gee, Matt, I'm having kind of a tough time. You know, I said, Fred, do you want to be successful? Do you want to sell as many shoes as I do? And I said, oh, yeah, Matt, I sure would. He said, Fred, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a day and just shadow me. Just shadow me. I don't want you to talk. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to shadow me. Don't get in my way. Just shadow me. So I did. Now, shadowing Matt around the men's shoe department in Nordstrom's is probably like shadowing Meryl Streep or Tom Hanks around a Hollywood backlot. He was just so smooth, you know. He said all the right things, you know. He made all the right moves, you know. He just had the right techniques. He was just so smooth. So late in the afternoon, an older gentleman walks in, impeccably dressed. Older gentleman walks in with kind of a haughty attitude, you know, and he walks up to Matt and says, I'd like to take a look at your dress shoes. So Matt goes in the back and gets about 6 or 7 pair of dress shoes. He brings them back after trying, getting the size of this gentleman, and he starts going into his presentation. You know, he talks about the merits of each of the pairs of shoes, and it's going well. And then suddenly, about midway through this presentation, this haughty gentleman is getting obviously upset. And finally, he stands up as if to leave, and he says, your shoes are overpriced. I am certain I can get them much less expensively elsewhere in this mall, so I've had about enough of your overpriced shoes, and I've had about enough of you, so I'm leaving. So Matt, my mentor, my hero, doesn't miss a beat. He stands up, so he's face to face with this guy. He says, Sir, you are absolutely right. You're right. You know, you may be able to get these Santonis and these Allen Edmonds and these Bostonian shoes elsewhere in this mall, and maybe even at a better price. But sir, there's one thing you can't get elsewhere. You can't get me. And he starts talking about the fact that he has provided shoes for some of the most prominent politicians and professional athletes and CEOs in the entire metropolitan area. And that he has visited the factories of some of the most important leading shoe manufacturers all over the world. And that he actually graduated from Leather University. And this guy is wowed. And 45 minutes later, he walks out with 7 boxes of shoes he bought from Matt at the shoe department at Nordstrom's. You see, Matt knew the power of the personal sale. No, he knew that first and foremost, he wasn't selling shoes. First and foremost, he was selling himself. That is the most important sale he'll ever make, and that's the most important sale any of you will ever make.